Hello and welcome to another update video on MSTR. We want to talk a little bit about this structure here. I mean, overall, not too much happened. The price is still holding our Fibonacci support area we discussed over the last few days. Yeah, if you watched the last videos, then you know that we have something that looks a bit like a 5-wave advance, but we are on a very small time frame, so it's always a bit questionable. But either way, we do have a micro support area here on the chart, which is between $225 to $238. And if we break above yesterday's swing high, which formed at $252, that would be, in my opinion, a sign of strength. Because if that happened, then the market would, in my opinion, lose its impulsive microstructure to the downside. Because there is a way that this entire decline can be interpreted as a downside impulse. Yeah, I can easily call it that way. But with a break above yesterday's high, it would be further evidence that, yeah, we get a larger bounce. I have to be very, very clear here, guys. I still do not see any evidence that a very, very meaningful low has formed. So just because I'm tracking here some short-term upside potential, which I think makes sense, it's just an idea, right? Which makes sense because the price hit the February low, March low, April low, and started to give us a decent bounce from the low. That bounce overall still has not given us a higher high. We don't yet have a higher low. I mean, it looks like that, but it's not a confirmed higher low. It will only be confirmed if we break above the high at around $251.50. And yeah, I mean, it just is not very impressive price action yet to the upside. And there is a wave count that I can adopt here to count the decline impulsively. And that is the orange scenario. So for those of you, because I did get some comments, can you also show the bearish microstructure? Yes, that's what we're here for education, but also to give you the bullish and bearish scenarios. Just please be aware that the smaller we go with these wave counts, the more management they need. Yeah, and I would say we have 5 waves down in wave 1. Yeah, in the orange count, I can do that. I don't particularly like the count as it is, but I can call it 5 waves down if I want to. I've got this wave 2 to the upside, and then the market obviously started to sell off. Yeah, I mean, it's not the most, it's not the cleanest microstructure to the downside, but I can easily call it an impulse to the downside here with wave 1, wave 2. I mean, this here might be 3, this here might be 4, even though I have to say there is still room even for another low in this third wave, but that's not so important in the short term. But this gives you basically a roadmap for lower prices in our orange scenario, in which the price could easily sell off further. Then we get a wave 4 at some point and a wave 5, which you can't see here. But basically in the very short term, this bounce here would be some kind of a 4th wave. Yeah, and so what further downside would then be a 5th wave, which could take us to around about $206, $195, $190. There's the next larger cluster of support levels below. And so all I can say at the moment is, I'm not impressed by price action to the upside. The bulls need to show up now in this region. Bitcoin is also testing a micro support zone at the moment. And this is basically the pivot that helps us distinguish between, let's say further downside, and a bounce, a corrective bounce in the short term. But I do not yet expect personally from here a rally to all-time highs. I mean, anything is possible. We need to understand that, right? Anything is possible. I'm talking about ideal structures, the most probable pathways. And it's important to understand that there's no guarantee we're turning around here. I mean, there is no high quality setup, right? This is not like a 1-2 setup to the upside. I treat it as an A-B structure, which always requires more caution. And the pivot is $225.50. So as long as we're holding it, the bulls do have a chance here. Yeah, in the short term. And if that happens from here, if we form a low in this region, and we've only formed a marginally lower low compared to yesterday's low, then $266 would be the 100% extension. What makes me extremely cautious is that this decline looks a little bit like a 5-wave decline now. So it might be the beginning of wave 5 to the downside, okay? Just be aware, a 5-wave decline is a bit of a warning. But then we have to consider that strategy also depends a little bit on BTC. So it is not a chart that is fully only, let's say, guided by its own sentiment. It does depend on Bitcoin's, let's say, market structure as well, to a degree at least. And so that's, again, sometimes people say, well, we need to analyze, but we analyze Bitcoin several times every day, all right? So we already do that. And then the resistance area here, the nearest resistance that needs to be overcome by the bulls is between $239.78 and $247.18. So that's the update on MSTR. Hope that added some value. It gives you the key support and resistance levels to watch and the breakout points. If you like the update, make sure you give the video a thumbs up, leave a comment. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.